Hello everyone and welcome back to the China EV Show. I'm your host Toby as usual. Before we get started, don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. Now, let's get into it. So last week we had the biggest event in the automotive calendar, which of course is the Beijing Auto Show 2024. I was lucky enough to be able to visit, and I was not disappointed. Under the theme of new era, new cars, we saw 117 new model unveils versus 93 at last year's show in Shanghai. Well, overall, 278 new energy vehicles were on display. It was nuts. This included, of course, Chinese EVs in a number of sizes, shapes, powertrains, price ranges, anything you can ask for. And on the other hand, we had a number of foreign brands who are doing their best to show their commitment to the local market here in China. Whether it's BS or not, I'll let you be the judge. Here are 4 things you need to know about Beijing Auto Show 2024. Number 1, EVs and their specs are getting absolutely bonkers. It is simply nuts the amount of choice the average Chinese consumer has when it comes to buying an EV. We have SUVs, MPVs, pure electric, extended range. It is a great time to be buying an EV, at least in China. We had a big announcement from CATL, which of course is one of the largest battery makers in the world and makes a third of the world's EV batteries. Its new LFP battery pack can charge up to 600 kilometers in 10 minutes. That's 1 kilometer per second. It's absolutely ridiculous. And on a total charge, is capable of over 1,000 kilometers. There are also a lot of plug-in hybrids on display as part of the new energy vehicle category, and also the extended range EV, which I think will be a rapidly growing segment in the future and will be going to a number of markets around the world. Fitted with a small engine that charges the battery pack, which powers the electric motors, this offers the best performance of EVs without any of the downsides. The question is it green though? Anyway, any of these, including the Deepal S6, which is one of my personal favorites, will be heading overseas to a market near you in the very near future. And as the cost of living rises in places like Europe, I think this is a category which will be very popular. Would you buy an extended range vehicle? Make sure you let us know in the comments below. Number 2, and I have to talk about the software-driven car. We're seeing this a lot over the last couple of years, but it wasn't more clear than at the Beijing Auto Show. Huawei had its own booth at the Auto Show, and while it does have a share in a number of brands like CATL and Avatar, its presence in EVs goes much deeper, with its Harmony operating system powering a number of vehicles, a huge number of vehicles in fact. I think Huawei has found a space here, as many of these manufacturers have many years creating vehicles, building at scale, but when it comes to the new generation of software-driven vehicles, they need some help, and this is where Huawei steps in. The question is, now that these brands have brought Huawei on board, will there be some difficulties when they come to export these vehicles to overseas markets? I guess we'll find out. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Number 3, I'd like to talk about the promises made by German luxury brands. These German brands have gotten very rich over the last couple of decades in the China market, but now they're beginning to see their market share being eaten away at by these new generation of Chinese EV brands. Mercedes-Benz, for example, saw its market share fall to its lowest in 6 years. And this is in the world's largest automotive market. What's the solution? Well, to wow local consumers with some market promises and some global unveils. But the question is, are they really being sincere? Mercedes-Benz unveiled its all-electric G-Class, even though I thought we'd already saw that somewhere else before. I actually think this product in itself is a little bit insincere. I don't know who will buy an electric G-Wagon. I know that the traditional G-Wagon owners will not buy it. So who is this car really for? Or was it simply so Mercedes could say, oh, all of our models are available in pure electric versions, despite the fact that they don't really sell? One executive said, we are all in to build the most desirable vehicles in the EV era. You're not there yet, so please keep trying and good luck. Other than that, the brand promised more localized R&D and products, so we'll see what they come up with in the future. BMW is doing slightly better despite having invested 100 billion yuan since 2020 and not really having much to show for it. Although fair play to the brand, it admits that it needs a do-over with its EVs, which is why it has brought out its Neue Klasse, which was on show at the Beijing Auto Show. These will be manufactured in China from 2026, and the brand is hopeful of its short-term outlook. It expects sales to grow this year. VW, which we know for its plan of in China for China and its somewhat disappointing EVs in the last couple of years, has unveiled its new electric vehicle brand in China, the ID.UX, with gadgets like an in-car avatar, which it hopes will help it win back consumers. The sub-brand's first model, the Unix, will go on sale in China only this year. Now, this seems a little bit more genuine, doesn't it? What do you think? Are German luxury brands like Mercedes-Benz kind of electrification proof for the time being, or do they need to get their act together and produce some electric vehicle offerings people actually want to buy? Let us know in the comments below. Finally, and very quickly, we need to talk about global expansion, which is happening at an accelerated pace. As we know, the Chinese market is very cutthroat. There's lots of price wars. All these EV brands need to go overseas to try and make more money, especially considering that a lot of them have overcapacity. At the Auto Show, we saw a number of the key export brands like Chery and Dongfeng come out in full force. They obviously want to be very clear about their intentions, and their intentions are to take these cars to the world. With the US off the table and tensions rising in Europe, the next markets for these brands will be South America, Middle East, and Africa. So if you live in one of these markets, you will be seeing some of these cars near you in the near future. Okay, that's it from today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the China EV Show.